Today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I've got some white vinegar and some salt. We're going to do some cooking, kind of. So what I'm going to show you today is how to age metal, right? So these are pickup adjustment screws, so you can raise and lower the pickups, but this will work with any type of metal, right? But I'm just going to show an example today with these and how to turn them into aged screws for your Relic project. Now, I've got a Les Paul that has one screw like that. All the others have aged naturally, but I've got one like that because I had to replace it because it got rounded off, right? So I replaced it, but I've got one shiny screw. So I wanted to age one so it matched the others. So I turned some new looking screws into old looking screws, just using stuff from the kitchen, right? This is really easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so all you need is, like I said, some white wine vinegar or white vinegar, right? You get it from anywhere. I got this online. I buy it in bulk because you can use it for so many things. It's like really good, right? There's just so many things you can do with white vinegar. So you only need a tiny amount. You need some normal kitchen salt and something to put the vinegar in, right? This is just a ramekin that you get those cheesecakes in from the supermarket. They're really handy, so I'll keep these. Anyway, right. So I'm going to put a tiny amount of white vinegar in, literally that much. You really don't need a lot, especially just for 2 screws, right? Let's put the lid back on so you don't spill it. Now, I'm not going to put the salt in just yet because it will start to react and start giving off smelly fumes. But what I need to do is, the screws don't go in the vinegar, right? You've got to suspend them above the vinegar so that it's the fumes that oxidize the metal, right? So what I do is just anything you can do to suspend those above that, right? So what I do is just use a bit of masking tape, put the 2 screws like that. I don't really want loads and loads of rust on the threads, yeah, because obviously you don't see the threads and you want the threads to work, right? So I just want the ends aged. So I'll get my tape and we'll stick these on the tape. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to put another piece over there. Okay, so we've now got that, right? So the screws, the actual thread, won't get too aged and rusty. We just want the heads of the screws to age, right? So now I have to somehow do that. So you can just get some more tape. Okay, so you can see I've literally just stuck some tape either side of your container, or ramekin in this case, and you can see the screws are now suspended. They're not touching the vinegar. Right, it's kind of hard for me to show, but yeah, they're not touching the vinegar, right? They're just suspended above it. Now all you need to do is add a tiny bit of salt. Give it a shake. One more for luck. And that is it. And you leave that. Now it's going to start kicking off some stinky fumes. It's just like vinegary fumes. And this is where I do my work on guitars, so I don't like to smell that all the time. So I just put like a little box. When I normally do it like this. Put a little box over it to contain the fumes, and in a couple, I left it. I normally leave it for a couple of days, and after a couple of days, I think it was actually 3 days I left this, and it turned brand new screws into that, which is perfect for what I need. Probably would have done it sooner than 3 days, but you can just periodically check, and you know, the longer you leave it, the more rusty they'll look. So if you just want it like a VOS finish, like Gibson's very light sort of finish, where you could just do it for a few hours and it'll probably take the shine off the metal and leave it a bit dull before it goes rusty. But just keep checking on it, and you know, take them out when you're happy with what they look like. But that's how to age metal, and you can do any bits of metal like that. That's a really good tip. All right, hope you find it useful.